Yo, what is good, guys? After a small little break from YouTube and the trade recaps and everything, honestly, the market just hasn't been that clean. I haven't been putting as much energy, or quantity-wise, it hasn't been there for my trading. The last 2 weeks has been kind of slow. I've been picking my spots really, really particularly, which has been really good for me. We've still been green. We've still been consistent with our profits, but we just haven't been as active personally because the edge that I have in the market, the way I trade in the market, it hasn't exactly been there. But I have come to the consensus that I do want to get at least 3 trade recaps out per week. No matter if I'm taking no trades, one loss, one win, whatever it looks like, I want to get the trade recap out no matter what. Today's trade, I literally just set the TP and stop loss. We were up. I took this on options. I didn't even trade the XFAs. It's a no news Monday. I felt that it wasn't really my conditions to even trade the XFAs. I took a small option loss. I was up as much as about $90 to $100 at one point. I literally just set my order. It was either TP or stop loss. We were in for pretty good sizing. We came back to break even. I trimmed a lot of my size. I just let the trade run, and we ended up losing $80 on the day in our options account. No XFA trades taken or anything like that. But let's get into it. Let's kind of just talk about it. This was our plan today. Coming in short-term bullish. Had a clear drawn liquidity to the highs that I wanted to see us take out. On the higher time frame, we're still consolidating. We're still pretty ugly. You can see we're trying to inverse this 4-hour. That's kind of been my main focus, just kind of seeing how we're reacting to this, and kind of seeing if there's anything on the higher time frame that kind of gives a little. I'm really focused on how we're reacting to this. Today, price was already up 1% at open or so. The VIX is down about 10%, so I knew price was going to move a little slower, and it's a no news Monday, so already seemed like conditions that I wasn't going to be too focused on. This is kind of what we saw at about 9:10. This draw on liquidity, the 805s was my target. We were at the top of this 30-minute gap. You'll see it open. We did try to get a good move out of it, but that was the plan for the day. Still inversing this gap. I understand we can go lower. I'm just looking to catch a nice impulse move higher. Come over to the chart here. As you can see, I just like Top Step. I just like the interface that I have built here and everything. So even when I trade options, I still watch it on here. This was my original risk. It was about 45 points, 47 points below these lows. We got in right here, and again, following my entry criteria. Let's start off. I'm just going to go right off of it. A lot of you guys trade my criteria, kind of trade the same concepts. If you trade my strategy, a lot of you guys have been using my criteria, seeing good success with it when you follow it. You have to trade that. You have to follow the criteria. You have to plan the trade and trade the plan if you really want to be successful in this game. You have to follow the plan you make for yourself. And today we followed the plan. But we were clearly aware on a no news Monday that probabilities are lower. And look, we still went pretty deep into profit. Like, we had a very nice run into profit. We went up as much as 70 points on this idea. I was looking for full TP. That is what it is. I set and forget, and I was okay with the amount that I was going to lose in this option trade, which was about $80. I was okay walking away and my account being down $80. I was completely okay with that. I didn't want to touch anything else. I wanted to leave everything else to the rest of the week. We have pretty good data second half of the week, so I was fine with that. But yeah, for today's trade, let's first talk about the higher time frame driving the lower time frame execution. Obviously, the higher time frame, usually 4-hour inverse, I don't really use them that much. I'll draw it out. I'll show you guys. It doesn't completely show my bias. The way I kind of view the higher time frame right now is that we're just very choppy. We're in this range. We're going back and forth, and I'm really not too worried. In my eyes, the higher time frame, we found a low. Obviously, we put in a higher low here, and we're testing the EMAs. We're looking to make a strong move up towards that draw. I was okay with that. So although the higher time frame could be a little bearish today, we did sweep this. Obviously, this was all swept. We went right for this key area that I wanted us to sweep. We swept that area. We've seen some pretty good confidence, basically Friday and then Sunday night into today. So I obviously said I was kind of higher time frame bearish, but I was okay, pretty neutral in the lower time frame. I did just want to see an impulse move up. So even on the higher time frame for the rest of the week, if I want to see us go lower, today I was still driven by the fact that I was okay that we had a little room to run, and I was going to give it a chance. And again, my bias clearly was not wrong, because after our impulse move at 9:30 open, we manipulated a little higher, put in a new high. We took this entry right out of this 2-minute gap with the EMA staircasing. So let's talk about all of our criteria here. Higher time frame drives lower time frame execution. Maybe not the cleanest example of this today, but overall I was okay with a move higher. I was looking for a move higher. VWAP and EMA cross impact. VWAP obviously underpriced, not too much of a impact today, but the EMAs, you can see we are staircasing up. We had manipulation. We have 5-minute gaps below. Open, went, manipulated lower into the higher time frame level that I was looking at, right into about that 625 area, so right about here. Manipulated to all this liquidity, came back within this range. We're able to form this trend. We went up, took a new high of day. I wanted to make sure that we didn't accumulate to then manipulate and distribute lower and make a big move lower. So I waited for some structure. We tapped back into this on the 2-minute, 5-minute. We did tap back into these gaps. We traded higher. We held the 21. Then we obviously got back above the 8. The 21 is kind of our last line of defense for my traders that work with me and use the EMAs. EMA 8 is kind of that stronger line of defense. The 21, you obviously want to see us hold that. If we start to get structure and close bodies below those, I'm usually looking for a change in the state, kind of like you see up here. This body obviously closed here. And again, I set and forget, so I could have been on the charts and took myself out of this for break even. I wasn't too worried about it. I was completely okay with the risk. We were still staircasing higher, but here you can kind of see up here, right, how the body started to close below both EMAs. You get the EMA cross under, that's obviously bearish, and then price literally just started to dump towards our stop down there. And of course, I tightened my stop and everything when I set and forget. My original stop was here. I moved it all the way to about, actually a little higher than here, usually right to about this like 670, 669 area. So basically to about right here is where we actually got stopped out. But yeah, we had a clear draw on liquidity that we were trading towards. So that's one. EMA impact, right? Took our trade out of a 2-minute, 5-minute area. We had the clear reasoning to enter this trade off of that pullback, off of new high of day. And then we had our key volume target, our clear draw on liquidity on the 30-second, 1-minute. It's going to mess up the chart, obviously. But we took our entry in a pretty defined area. As you can see, this actually is not, I don't know why it's here. Took my entry right about here. This was the right place. If you go down to like the lower time frame, the 30-second, I entered right about 9:35. So right off of here, we were right on the EMAs, bouncing off the EMA. That's when we took a new high. We came back break even. Like I said, I severely de-risked, took a lot of size off, and then I kind of just let this trade run. But yeah, we continue to hold. This is the 1-minute here. We continue to go up the trend line liquidity. So we had our higher time frame bias. We had our draw on liquidity. We had our trend line holding. We had our EMAs supporting price. We had our 2-minute, 5-minute entry. And those were our 4 to 5 confluences. We had clear reason. I wouldn't say this was A+. This was definitely trending more towards A, maybe even B- on a lower probability day, which is why I was severely de-risked and completely okay with the risk, completely okay with the setup. This was my main setup for the day. And you can see, I mean, obviously we were pretty right to a degree. Obviously we took on some early drawdown, but from there, anytime we returned to our stop or returned to our entry point, we basically saw really, really good reactions off it. We had trendline liquidity staircasing up, obviously signifying the uptrend. And like I said, we were targeting about 110 points. We went about 70 points in profit, so we definitely had the right idea. This easily could have been a break-even trade. If I was on futures, I definitely, when we took this new high of day, right when I kind of got off the charts right here, like 10, 10, 10, 12, I definitely would have just break-evened it. I was on options. I was okay with the risk. It was basically either to make about $200, $250, probably closer to $220, $230 while risking 75. I think I ended down $81. I was completely fine with that. For the size of the port and the options that I've kind of been trading, that's very low risk for me. I've been focusing on kind of $150 to $200 losses and about $250 to $300, sometimes even $400, $450 gains, basically with a 2RR model, predicting 2RR usually. But yeah, that was the trade for today. Pretty straightforward. I was very aware there was a no news Monday, so usually on a normal trade that would have been expected about a $200 loss. This was about an $81 loss. So severely de-risked, very okay with it. I love the model. I love the setup. And as you can see, I was in about 6 contracts. Once we took a new high and we came back down here, we did hold this area. We made another push up, came back. Right at about this area was where I went break even. I was just showing at this area once we touched this level again and then came back down that I was break even here. I didn't want to put it here, obviously, because it's kind of messy right there. So I just kind of rested it up here. But yeah, right about the second retest, we were still holding this gap, right? But I was okay just taking risk off because once we made this move up, we had a really nice 2-minute candle. I was looking for us to kind of just start ripping right on a cleaner day. We're probably just going towards that draw on liquidity at this point, about 70 points away from the draw. I'm looking for us to just make a pretty quick run. But on a no news Monday, lower probability day, that's why all of this ends up happening. Kind of a very slower move. I mean, this is 9:30 open right here, and this is 10:15. So this right here is 45 minutes of price action. Pretty disgusting in my opinion. Obviously not bigger candles because of the VIX being down 10, 11%. Volatility was down. Lower probability day. This is where dynamic sizing comes in. Your sizing should change based on not only the profile of the day, but how price is moving. Your stop, your TP, all of that should factor into how you size with the dynamic sizing model that I teach my students and talk about them with. But yeah, overall today, small loss, nothing to be upset over. Great idea, great setup, lower probability day. Took risk off the table because of that, and we took a small loss. That's all. Had really, really good profit, and obviously got stopped out for a loss, but I love the idea. The higher time frame still is a mess, so that definitely affects my entry criteria from kind of taking like A plus setups to taking A setups, because the higher time frame is a disaster right now. I will say that. But again, that doesn't stop me from following my rules, being disciplined, going about my routine every morning, showing up to the market with the same mindset that I am a winning trader, I am a disciplined trader, I am a successful trader. And I just have to keep following, what has been working for months now, and what has been working consistently as I continue to grow and have bigger months and bigger months. All we're doing is following the plan, guys. Just because I don't post on YouTube or maybe not on the social medias as much, the consistency is not changing for me. I'm still looking to be that great trader. I'm still looking to succeed in the markets, stay disciplined in the markets, and get better. Personally, me, and of course help my students every day and help all my followers on any platforms get better every single day. That's what it's about. All we're looking to do is compound those consistent actions and get better. So appreciate you guys for watching this trade recap. Hope this made sense. Following my criteria. Of course, you guys probably understand how I trade from watching some of my recaps. And of course, if you're one of my students, you have access to my criteria. You have access to how I enter some of the trades that I take, my playbook and everything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. God bless. Peace out.